Well, welcome again to the Books and Music Review Show. Yes, I'm there. And now I'm going inside to tell you a little bit about what we have planned for today. Very, very interesting show. A little bit of a, what do they call it, an op-ed, or my opinion on some of the current events, and also a great consumer spot with great information and a few good websites that you can go to. And a few other things, but why tell you about it? Because a lot of times I announce what's going to be on the show, and then by the time I start, I get on to other topics. So, what we're going to do is go inside. Okay, so we'll go inside and we'll leave that on there. Oh, you know what I should do? Let's try this. Well, try this and see if that works. Okay, there you go. We'll put a little bit of information on the show's lower thirds, as they call them. And I do have my glasses with me today. Oh, I'm not on air. I got to switch the camera. Hold on, I'll switch the camera. That's the inside of the studio, inside of the control room. Let's switch the camera to camera 2, maybe. Let's see what that does. There you go. Do I like 2 or 3? Let's see. I kind of like, I don't know, maybe I like 3. Maybe I like 2. We'll try that. So for now, we're going to be on camera, whatever number I just said. So welcome to the Books and Music Review Show. Yeah, it was an op-ed or opinion day. Let's see what's in there. Oh. I'll tell you what, very unusual, but I did get organized today a little bit. Not that that means anything, but I wrote things down. And I'll put that aside. And I'll tell you what the show's going to be about. I just told you a few minutes ago, but I'll tell you a little more. There's the information. I hope you can hear me. You know what? I'll make a trip outside to make sure I unmuted the mic. I'm pretty sure it's unmuted. Let's see. Have we unmuted the mic? Yes, both mics are unmuted. That's good. Okay, so we're all set for the show. I'm not going to say welcome again. Oh, wait a minute. That shouldn't be on there. I'll fix that. Hold on. Technical difficulties. Let me set that to stop. Okay, we'll put it on that. Okay, any technical difficulties there are, that's my fault, or my credit. I take credit for that. Look, if I make a mistake, I want my credit for it. Okay, first things first. The list of what the show is going to be about. Where is that list? I have the list. Well, I had it 2 hours ago. I may not have it now. Guess what? I left the list at home. That's all right. We're going to ad-lib. We're going to ad-lib today without the list. There's a list. Surprise! Okay, I got the list. Things that we're going to talk about. I sort of took them out of order, but we're going to go for it anyway. We were going to talk about Shop Smart, which is a fabulous magazine put out by Consumer Reports. I think it's an annual, but I'm not sure. It's called Shop Smart. It's 11 by 10, like something like that. That's not the whole magazine, of course. We're going to tell you about some good things out of there. And then, besides Shop Smart, another thing we're going to talk about is like some of my favorite books. I have 2 favorite books that I have not mentioned this year yet. And so one of the books is called, which you might need after the comments on current events. It's a book that's, this is not the book, but I'm going to give you an example. On one side, it's one book, and then you turn it upside down the other way, and it's another book on the other side, which is really kind of cool. So on one side of the book, it's a very simple title. I forgot it. On one side of the book, it's called Calm Me Down, and I'll start that book after I do my opinions on the current events. The Calm Me Down, and the other side of the book is called Lift Me Up. It's one book put together, two books put together, apparently with two authors, or maybe it's one book with co-authors, but they put one author's name on the front side and one author's name on the back side of the book. So there's that book. And then one of my other favorite books, and mind you, these books, Calm Me Down is not too old, but most of them, the Consumer Reports Smart Shop is a very old magazine. Like I said, it's probably an annual. And the other one, Black Pearls, which I believe came out in the 90s, and that's one of my favorite books. Black Pearls is daily meditations, affirmations, and inspirations for African Americans, which I kind of like, I always say like, you know, I'm a reader and I read everything, but the funny thing about this book is I never picked this up to read. It wasn't the book that I got connected with. It was many years ago in the 90s, years ago when the Grand Army Plaza Library, the main branch of the library, had a big, time for candy. It had a big, huge music section with like thousands of LPs and also cassettes for anybody who doesn't know what a cassette is. It's a recording cassette, you know, two little holes and it goes around and the tape and all, you know. That's a bad definition. But if you guys remember what cassettes were, so I took this cassette out, which I thought was amazing. And it was a cassette of Black Pearls, Daily Meditations, Affirmations, Inspirations for African Americans. And the way I feel about it is if these are affirmations and inspirations and meditations, those are all positive things. You don't really have to be African American to get something out of it. So I took that cassette out and I started to listen to it, and wow, just wow, triple wow. If I'm not mistaken, and yeah, my memory's not good, but I think, and this is going back years ago, the voice, the person, I thought it was Ruby Dee, who was saying who was reading from the book. And some of the things in the book really, really got to me, really reached home, really amazed me. And then years later, many years later, I saw an announcement in the library, in the Grand Army Plaza Library, that Eric Kopacz, and that's his name, I don't know if you pronounce it that way, I think it was Eric V. Kopacz, was going to come to the library and talk about it and read from his books. So it was a book, it was a cassette, it was a book. It's whatever it is, it's from the 90s. It's great. And the Calm Me Down, Lift Me Up one, that is from, is there a date on that? I know that I've had it a number of years. 2003, that's that one. Calm Me Up, Lift Me Down. No, Calm Me Down, Lift Me Up. Okay, that's bad. Okay, so, here's the list. I was supposed to read this earlier. It says set up the microphones, test the mic, cameras, put the disclaimer on, which I did already, and a list of topics, which I gave you already. That's totally irrelevant when you tune into this show. You should know that. So, okay. The next thing is start the timer, put the disclaimer on, blah, blah, blah. The email address, which you've got probably. I'll give you that later. And now to current events. Candy needed. Current events. What's been happening in current events? It says, it's on my phone. I have it here, but phone is a good reminder. Let's find that on the phone. You're right. I should not have put a candy in my mouth when I'm doing TV. It's terrible. Good for my throat, but okay, current events. This is horrible. So if you don't like horrible, like leave the room. Disclaimer here, leave the room. If you can take it and just like hear it and not process it for the whole day and months coming, stay and listen. A United States woman has been jailed for life for killing her 9-year-old child. No, scratch that. 9-year-old cousin. by sitting on her as a form of punishment. Ah, but you say, who sits on a kid, right? You'd be surprised. Sitting on children, like really putting all your weight on them, is a pretty bad, it's a pretty bad punishment. It's child abuse. So Veronica Green Posey was convicted of murder after she smothered, they say she was convicted after she supposedly or allegedly, I'm putting the allegedly in there, smothered this little girl in her Florida home. The child suffocated because she sat on her for more than 5 minutes. The girl misbehaved, so she sat on her. And it says that the girl suffered from horrific beatings from her adoptive parents. Don't let that fool you. Real parents do that too. Yes, there's real mothers out there who beat their children and sit on them till they can't breathe. So the abuse reached a head when Posey sat on Derrica in an effort to get the girl under control. The 320-pound woman sat on her for 5 minutes, enough for the child to die from a lack of oxygen. I'm amazed at that because I had no idea it took only 5 minutes. Because, yeah, I've been sat on. What can I tell you? I'm not laughing at what happened. I'm laughing at, like, the stupid things that I don't know, but you see it on the news, you know. It was a Pensacola News Journal. Derrica Lindsay convicted of sitting on the child. She's given a life sentence. Rightfully so, I guess, you know, the girl died, the poor girl. Okay, next. Next on my list, I have the no button. You should all have a no button. Everyone should have a no button. Just in case you come along with somebody who doesn't take no for an answer, or who's verbally abusive or emotionally abusive, you can have a no button. You all, no, no. You don't have to say it. Just keep pressing the button. Okay. Another news item, current events, violence against Trump supporters and MAGA hat wearers continues. Yeah, did you know that was happening? Did you know that was happening? Yeah, I'll read the headline again. Violence against Trump supporters and MAGA hat wearers continues. Oh, the whole news article isn't here. Hayden Williams was on Hannity in February. That happened. This is 2019. Here's a good one for you. You'll like this. Helpful hint. You should be saving your pasta water. Everybody makes macaroni, pasta, anything you boil, your vegetables, whatever. It's the time of year now. You should be saving your pasta water. See how we can jump from serious to haha. That's kind of weird. The reason you should save your pasta water is you let it cool off. And you use that wonderful water to water your plants. Yes. Your tomatoes will love it. Your plants will love it. All of your flowers will love this wonderful water because it has all those vitamins and things that wash off of your vegetables and your pasta when you're cooking it. And you put it right back into your garden, right? Next. Okay, Ocasio-Cortez was booted from the Board of Justice Democrats, PAC. I'm not going to comment on that. And then we go on to this. Ooh. I can't read you that one. You have to send me an email to find out what that was about. And then I have all these wonderful pictures and things, the graphics and all that is in my website, my art website. Current events, next. Did you know this? Smuggler diverts border agents by dropping 2 girls from atop the border barrier. Can you imagine that? Like, who's going to drop girls from a border barrier? Like, only smugglers. Wait a minute. There are smugglers trying to come through the border? I just realized it says smugglers. Wow. Okay, so that's in current events. Then another current events, Border Patrol nabs 700 illegal immigrants in El Paso overnight. That's just in one night. They nabbed 700. Wow. Oh, that 700 included 2 convicted sex offenders. So they got them at the border. What else? Border control catches 400 immigrants in 5 minutes. 400 every 5 minutes. Oh my goodness, that's a lot. I feel bad for the kids that are in that group. Kids shouldn't be crossing the border. Keep those kids safe. Okay, Washington State deputy was killed by illegal immigrant, ICE says. Kittitas County Sheriff's Department, Ryan Thompson was shot and killed by an illegal immigrant. And ICE says the man who killed Washington State deputy this week was Mexican citizen illegally in the United States. And one of our deputies died. He was a road rage suspect who allegedly shot and killed a sheriff's deputy and wounded a police officer in Washington State. Hey, it's an op-ed, it's an opinion piece. I'm just reading you some headlines. What's next? If you go online on YouTube, you can look up Dr. Phil and what's his opinions on bullies, some very interesting shows. And then you got the website, the WordPress. Here's an amazing thing. I can't read you that. Look, there's just some things I can't read you. You had to go read it yourself. I thought about it, started. Nope, don't read it. Here's a good one. I'm going to hold this one up to the camera. It's a good message. This is current events. Which camera? This one. I don't know if you can see this. There you go. Check that out. Do you want to know how to do that? I know you probably could draw it a little better. You could do this on your phone without any special program. You can write a message, draw a picture. It says, always have hope, and there's a smiley face, and then it says, always. So you can type in it, you can draw in it. If you're an artist, you can draw right on your phone. Cheap phone, not an expensive phone. Okay, not cheap, but it ain't no iPhone, that's for sure. Let's say it's the Droid phone, which I happen to like. And then there's some more artwork on there. Current events, back to current events. Oh my goodness, we only got 11 minutes left. Illegal alien ordered deported in 2017, accused of killing Alabama school teacher in head-on crash. Another one. Then we had the Jussie Smollett in current events. They dropped the charges. That's what they did. Now, the real current events is what I wanted to talk about. This is what I want to talk about. Oh, I was supposed to go by my list. Uh-oh. So much for planning a show, right? I had a list. I said, read this first, do this first. I don't know where the list is. I got a list of lists. Guess that doesn't help, huh? Okay, I'm going to ad-lib the show now, 10:20. But the really thing I wanted to talk about, maybe it's in here, let's see. Nope. Let's talk about the wall! Yeah! Current events. Let's talk about the wall. Sorry about that, didn't mean to yell, I was all excited. Oh, here it is, here's the list. Current events. The Pope, his comments on the relevance to the wall. What you think about it? You heard what the Pope said about the wall. First, I guess if I was a TV station, I'd have to give you this disclaimer. I was born, raised, schooled, educated, and brainwashed Catholic. Catholic. Big C, because that's for the church, the church. So I come from a Catholic upbringing or raising, or I was inside one of the Catholic schools, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, all the way up to 8th grade, and then we went to 2 years of high school, at which at the end of the 2 years, I got to go to public school for 2 years. So, the Pope said, let me tell you what the Pope said. The Pope said that walls, make people prisoners. Of course they do if you can't get out. The Pope also said that walls are immoral. So it's kind of like insinuating people who want walls are immoral. Like walls are immoral? I don't know. So somebody said, well, the Vatican is surrounded by walls, but the media, in an attempt to clear that up, said that no, the Vatican is, has a lot of walls, but it's an open door. However, what the media failed to tell you, which you haven't seen on the news, is this. When the Pope does his Mass, even though, there's open door, do you know you need a ticket to get to the Pope's Mass? Did you know that? He celebrates the Mass. I don't know if this is an annual Mass or a weekly Mass or whatever it is. But if you, average Joe, ordinary citizen, want to go to the Pope's Mass, you, according to the media, you need a ticket. Now, following the comment about building a wall is immoral, I ask you, I'm not telling you, but I'm asking you, is selling a ticket to a spiritual celebration a sacrament? Isn't the Mass a sacrament, a blessed sacrament? Is selling a ticket or giving a ticket or having tickets, is that immoral or is that moral? If we're going to start labeling people's actions that they use for security and the comfort and the safety of our American citizens and everybody who's inside of America, if we're going to start labeling their actions because they want a wall or voted for a wall or because the president wants a wall, and you're going to label these things as immoral, then you tell me, how moral is it to say that you need a ticket to get into a blessed sacrament? And which one is more immoral than the other? I don't know if you could compare, or if one is not moral or one is moral. Is it moral to need a ticket to get into Mass? Let me say something. Even if the ticket is free, okay, that's still a ticket. I cannot, if I wanted to go to the Mass, whenever it is, next week or the week after or 2 weeks from now or a year from now, I would not be admitted into the Mass that the Pope was giving unless I had a ticket. So kind of a way, that's kind of like they're censoring who's able to come in and who's not able to come in. It's kind of like a preference or a prejudice. It's like how many people are going to get into the Mass if we have 200 tickets. Now, Jesus, when he walked on this earth, he had everybody coming to hear him speak. Crowds would come. Remember that time in the Bible where they actually opened the roof and they put some guy down in front of Jesus? Like, he did not say to the guy that they lowered down on the bed, he did not say, "Halt, do you have a ticket? The tickets were free, but do you have a ticket?" No, Jesus didn't say that. Here's the thing is, I'm thinking that I was taught in Catholic school that the Pope is like the head of the church, and I was taught, reverence and respect, which I do, reverence and respect the Pope. I do that. I was taught that he was kind of like, like the follower of Jesus, or I don't know the words. It was so many years ago. I'm an old woman. They taught me when I was like 8, 9, high school. No, they didn't teach us that in high school. So anyway, it's kind of like the Pope's supposed to be like Jesus. And I say, if the Pope is going to be like Jesus, I think that what the Pope should do is he should get rid of all those tickets for the Mass. He should just open the doors like Jesus opened the doors and let everybody in. Because the Pope's not worried about safety and security, because he thinks that we don't need a border wall where tens of thousands of people are coming in, and including, as I just read you, there are some people that shouldn't be coming in through that way. But if the Pope believes that we should not have walls because they're immoral, then why does the Pope need a ticket for people to get into Mass? I mean no disrespect by my questions. These are serious questions because I don't understand it. I think it's fine and wonderful that he has tickets for the Mass. If he doesn't put down our elected American president for wanting people to have tickets to get into our country. I think if you need a ticket to get into the Mass, you should have a ticket to get into the country. And yes, the Vatican is surrounded by many big walls. And they say there's an open door. But that's what the president wants. He wants an open door. He's even said it so many times. He wants the borders shut, but he wants an open door so that immigrants can come. It can come and freely flow. They give documents, and come on in, you're welcomed. We welcome all legal immigrants. Anybody who comes, you're coming for asylum? Come on, we welcome you. We're just saying, like, come through the door, don't climb over the wall. It's like in my house, if I want to have somebody in, I'm like, yes, you can come in, but don't climb over the wall, don't climb over the fence. If you live in an apartment building, you got a lock on the front door, you got a lock on the lobby door, then you got a lock on your door. You live in an apartment building, you got 3 locks to get to. Sometimes there's 3 or 4 locks on each one of those entrances. Is the Pope saying that people who live in apartment buildings are immoral? Even cemeteries are locked after dark. Are the cemetery owners immoral? And how many Catholic cemeteries are there? I mean, are they open all night? Can you go in anytime, night or day? Most of them tell you it closes at dusk. It's a question about moral or immoral. I just think it stinks when someone calls our duly elected president immoral. I just think that stinks. No, the Pope doesn't stink. He's wonderful. He's holy. He's, like the priest. They get to be a cardinal. Then I don't know the process. It's a long time. I'm an old woman. But what I'm saying is, don't call names. Don't call people names. Unless someone's a bully. Then call them a bully, but don't call them that to their face. Just tell somebody. If you're being bullied, tell somebody. If I didn't know any better, I'd be saying that at this point the president's being bullied by the whole media. Oh, by the way, I got a minute left to say, no collusion! Oh, I didn't get to the Calm Me Down book. That was due. Hold on, where's that book? Okay, for anybody who doesn't like what I have to say, write to me. Maybe you want to be on the show, express your opinion. A book, Calm Me Down, by Barbara Heller. I'm going to have to put the produce through on too, so I don't forget that. Let's see. The book says, okay, I'll calm you down now. Calm me down. Carry a favorite magazine or paperback in your bag to while away the time spent in waiting rooms and supermarket lines pleasantly. Okay, I think I'll put on the produce through. Let's see. That's not the produce through. My mistake. Like I said, I'm responsible for all mistakes. There's the opinions. Oh, I should do that, right? Oh, wait. Uh-oh. So this is the Books and Music Review where I make a lot of mistakes. There you go. So I am glad that you came to hear my opinion, and I'm sorry I didn't get to calm you down. I'll read another thing from the Calm You Down book. Got a few more minutes. Letting go. If you take your time and keep your wits about you, you can cultivate a wholesome and artful spiritual life that nourishes the whole self. Who said that? Elizabeth Lesser. Uh-oh. Time's up, I think, in like a few minutes. Oh, I got 12 seconds, actually. Yeah. We are producing the facilities of Staten Island Community Television, and almost always, we'll give you something you like or don't like.